Hello everybody, so shooting this from Nagoya, Japan. So just landed a couple of hours ago, so we are already waiting for this very famous popular unagi place. We have to queue up 2 hours. So we came to this cafe, have a bit of time to shoot this video, and it's pretty cool. Alright, so pretty peaceful, right, despite it being the holiday period. So that's why I had a bit of quiet time to shoot this video for all of you guys. And today I just want to share with you my top 3 biggest lessons for 2024. It's been a crazy year for me. I hope it's been an amazing year for you as well, to whoever is watching this. And yeah, I mean, whether your business, your life, your income, your health, relationships has went great or not, I hope you guys be able to use these lessons to improve your own and hopefully crush not just 2025 but also beyond as well. So personally for me, the start of this year was one of the most challenging ones ever since I heavily considered quitting my business in the first 2 months of 2024. And there's a post in my socials, you can check it out. But I was still, at one point of time, I was even applying for jobs as well, because I was so misaligned with how I was running my business and catering, right, to I think what the expectations was in industry rather than what I truly believed I want and what aligned with me as well. And so fortunately I made some changes to my business and life, and things are way better now, right? And that's just a quick, or the biggest update maybe in my year so far, where I actually made, I would say, less revenue for my business. But I think margins wise, profits wise, right, we're actually doing a lot better than what we did last year. And I feel happier, way more fulfilled, way more aligned than before. So I think the first lesson I learned was the power of trusting your gut or your intuition. This was what I learned as a result of what happened previously, and now I'm hoping using this lesson and my experiences so that you do not avoid, so that you might be able to avoid the mistakes that I made previously as well. And so contrary to what I used to believe, intuition or your listening to your gut is not a woo-woo spiritual thing. Instead, from my experience, of course I'm not expert yet, listening to our gut is simply focusing on what we truly want and feel, away from the noises in our heads, from managing other people's expectations of us or distractions from anything else. And it feels freaking amazing once you're able to listen to what you want and act on what you truly believe that's aligned to you. And so after learning from a few folks and practicing it myself, a couple of things happened, right? I think number one, my level of effective decision making freaking skyrocketed. I was able to make a lot sharper, better, more exciting decisions in not just business, but finances, my income, my life, health, my relationships, and in general. Became way more grounded and mindful, which was always my struggle, because I'm always excited and jumpy and hoppy, which is great, right, to get the momentum, but not so good because you might get overwhelmed or burnt out very easily, right? So it's not that being excited all the time is wrong, right? Just that having the power to be grounded and mindful when you need to be reflective and introspective can be amazing for your life as well. And I think lastly, which I love, which is I don't let external events affect me as much as before, right? So what I realized is at the end of the day, do we control emotions? Do our emotions control us? So on the other sub lesson from there I've learned also is you can still feel like crap and do it anyway. You can still feel scared, you can still feel crappy, you can still feel like shit, you can still feel tired, you can feel demotivated, but still do it anyway. And so if you are slave to your emotions, right, you just do whatever your brain tells you to do, which is don't go for the workout, don't write that post, don't meet up with a friend, don't reach out, don't connect, don't be proactive, right? But if you are control of your emotions, right, you'll do it despite not feeling like it. And so that's what helping hold my intuition, my gut, being more grounded helped me out as well, to be less reactive to external events when shit will happen, right, in your life, whether you like it or not, but not being reactive and actually responding in a way that feels good and aligned to you. So I think number one, right, which is listening to your gut and intuition. Again, I'm not an expert, but all I do right now is every day I take about 10 minutes silence plus deep breathing, closing my eyes, and just ask myself in my head, what does my intuition tell me? And I just note whatever thoughts I have after, and I act upon them, and sometimes I don't have to. So that is what I do right now. I have a video separately in YouTube if you want to check it out. I highly recommend for you to try it out if you haven't. Life is freaking amazing once you listen to your gut and intuition. The second thing I did, the second big lesson I would share is the fact that power means not requiring perfect conditions. So a quick background, as many of you know, I used to be very obsessed about the topic of productivity and high performance for years. But while I learned that productivity strategies and tips can be amazing. So for example, optimizing your desk setup, right? Getting the best apps for you, right? Getting the best hacks, little biohacking tips, so on and so forth would be great. We cannot expect to succeed if we become too reliant on them. So you always want to have a strong foundation of activities, exercises, mindsets, routines that can drive you forward despite not having perfect conditions all the time. And so a quick background was, so my second challenge earlier this year was the fact that I realized that when I was traveling, my output or my results tend to drop. And I always had this slight concern. Every time I travel, yes, life is amazing, I still get some things done, but I will never be that level of output or productivity I would like. That's when I learned from my mentor at the point of time, which is, have I been too reliant on perfect conditions all the time? So now I've learned, so for example, I was able to have an amazing desk setup at home, but when I'm traveling, obviously I can't. Like what I'm doing right now is not with my usual webcam and setup that I usually have. And what I've learned this year is to learn to adapt on the go. It's also a mindset for me to not be too reliant on these perfect conditions to succeed. And like, for example, a few months ago during my honeymoon, hey, business life was still pretty good and great, right? Despite not having perfect conditions. So I'm still learning as I go. Business-wise, I am doing pretty okay for this, but I realize other areas of my life, I need to work on it as well. So for example, for health, for me, I can do well when my body is well, but whenever I'm injured, let's say my legs, I tend to just throw away all my other health routines on the window, whether it's water, supplements, right, upper body exercises. Like, once I get injured, I feel very down, and I then don't get to the usual routine I have. Even though, yes, without a healthy leg, you can't do a lot of stuff, but I can still get things done. But for me, I just go straight to not doing anything at all. So that's something for me to work on next year as well. So, but in short, powerful people use their environment and routines to achieve results, but they're not completely reliant on them. So again, it always starts with a mindset thing. And so lastly, I think my last lesson for this year was really do not settle. So earlier this year, multiple times when I've conversed with my wife, she shared with me that she felt that I wasn't as mentally strong or as what other people thought. And my wife knows me best, right, compared to everybody else. And she also felt that I was pretty spoiled as a person. And while it would have been easy to feel offended by that, I was actually very curious instead. Like, yeah, I think that's true. Like why do is it really an issue that I'm spoiled? Is it really an issue that I quit my jobs 4 times in 4 years at one point of time? Is it true that it's bad for me to always want to switch my situation or switch something wherever something doesn't go my way? And I realized my conclusion is no. Right? And of course, it's always balance between being resilient and being driven, right, despite hard circumstances, as I mentioned earlier. But there's also a power, right, to having what I call a very low tolerance for pain. So this is what I shared earlier with my clients earlier this year during my private mastermind, which is when facing something that people don't like, we only have about 3 choices that we can make whenever that happens. So number 1, we can quit the entire situation. So for example, your boss sucks, your colleagues suck, you don't like your job, you don't like your work, using that, or you don't like your body, right? We can quit, right? We can just quit everything altogether and screw that thing and never think about it again. But obviously, there is value to sticking with it. Let's say your job, your career, your relationship, for example. And so what happens is most people, of course, avoid quitting until it becomes too painful. So that's number 1. Number 2 is the fact that most of us tolerate. So when most of us tolerate, this is the most common thing that all of us do, me included, wherever things don't go our way, which is we quietly become unhappy or dissatisfied with whatever that we are unhappy with. We refuse to acknowledge it, and the more we tolerate and avoid having those conversations or those feelings around that thing you're not happy about, the frustration grows over and over again until one day you explode, right? And not very good things happen. And so my take is I have a very low tolerance. So every time I feel unhappy, right, I will immediately go and ask for help, seek feedback, change the situation, right? Reflect on it ASAP, talk to people about it. So I'm actually quite proud of a low tolerance because that's allowed me to grow or improve faster than what majority of people would take way longer to do. So the lower tolerance for pain, with this context, you're more likely to succeed faster because you're able to switch a lot faster, right? And being uncomfortable, right, adapt, right, a lot faster than the average person. And so what I do is I'm actually switching to what I call stage number 3, which is acceptance. So acceptance basically means what I believe is the real key to joy and fulfillment. Acceptance doesn't mean you do nothing or you just believe that everything is perfect, right? But basically what I believe acceptance is detaching from the outcome and standards. Gratitude is a very powerful way to get acceptance in your life. I won't talk too much about that because that takes a whole other video, right? It means detaching from the outcome or standards, some standards you have placed in your life, and staying happy regardless. So for me personally, acceptance is about being at peace with where you are while being excited with where you're going as well. So it's a bit of a balance, right, between being grateful, being content, being satisfied, right, while being driven, being motivated, being active towards moving towards a dream life as well. So like I said, it's always a good balance and it's a lot of internal conversation. And to me, that's the real real key, right, to joy and fulfillment, which is you still enjoy life, but you still get growth, you still get improvement, and you still get to experience what more of life has to go for you. And so anyway, so while whatever I said above might sound a little bit philosophical or end of year reflections, or maybe just watch all the way to the end, right? Here's my wish for you today. I hope you choose to not settle and live life to your fullest potential. And in short, to do what truly makes you happy and fulfilled rather than everybody else, right? Catering the expectations of other people, your friends, your society, industry, parents, society, teachers, right? Whoever, right? I hope you do what truly makes you happy and fulfilled and nobody else. So with that, have an amazing new year, right? Wherever you're watching this, I hope you have an amazing new year. Whether it's 2025, 2026 or even beyond if you're watching this, right? And I hope you have an amazing life. And with that, talk to you soon. Bye.